Bringer of Rain Boxing here, folks. Coming at you with another video. So today I wanted to talk about the game plan that Freddie Roach has concocted that obviously I don't know 100%, but due to some research, I believe I have a pretty good idea of the plan we might see set forth on August 21st. Now, really quickly, I just wanted to remind you all that Freddie Roach his first choice was not Errol Spence. He's recently gone on record and said that he believes that Mikey Garcia would have been the easier fight for Manny Pacquiao. And Freddie Roach and Sean Gibbons, one of the chief men at MP Promotions, were actually trying to sway Manny away from choosing Errol Spence and fight someone maybe a little bit easier at his age, someone like Mikey Garcia, who, quite frankly, after watching his last fight with Errol Spence, I'm questioning the guy's desire to even box in general. I think he kind of cashed out early in his career, and he doesn't have the fire in his belly to compete anymore. So that would have been an easy fight for Manny. But the old stubborn warrior does not want to go out with a whimper. He doesn't want to face just a light touch in what could be his second to last fight, or even his last fight. I hope it's not his last fight. I hope that he sums up the requisite stamina and can outlast Errol Spence, and it has one more farewell fight, whether it's in the Philippines or in the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Those are the two places that it would have to be at. Anyway, sorry for rambling here, folks. I wanted to get to the meat of this video after making that statement. Freddie Roach has the game plan he believes already, with less than a month out, to beat Errol Spence. And it's requiring a lot of in and out movement and not hanging around the pocket for extended periods of time. And for those Manny Pacquiao fans out there, when they hear that strategy, what is the first fight you think of? For me, it's the Antonio Margarito fight. And that was a fight where Manny Pacquiao was actually facing a fighter who's taller than Errol Spence, a full inch taller, and also had a longer reach than Errol Spence. And you could tell, at least early on in the fight, that Manny Pacquiao's strategy was to get in and out of the pocket with his superior foot speed and footwork and exit the firing range before Margarito could get back to him. Now, what you saw in the middle of that fight was a little bit troubling. I don't think Margarito ever won a clear round in that fight, but he had some success when Manny Pacquiao either A, hung in the pocket, right, and allowed Margarito to get off his shots, right, kind of let him tee off, or B, when Manny Pacquiao was driven to the ropes and just kind of was just there passively and was tapping his gloves together and pretty much letting Margarito fire away. Now, I think Manny Pacquiao and Roach know the urgency in this fight. One being, Pacquiao is older, so he's not going to be able to withstand that kind of punishment. And B, let's just be honest here, folks. Errol Spence is, I think, a better fighter than Margarito. Some people online here are comparing the style of Spence to Margarito. I think that's slightly irresponsible. Spence is a more athletic, more dynamic fighter, has more tools in his arsenal. Margarito is kind of just a one-dimensional fighter. I think Spence, his preference is to come forward and be hyper-aggressive and hunt you down, but he's just not walking into shots, and he's not willing to be a punching bag like Margarito. He can, pop a jab a little bit and move around and have lateral movement. And like I said, I think he's just a much better athlete than Margarito was. So what I'm saying is Manny Pacquiao really has to emphasize that in and out game. And that will be the key to this fight. The footwork, can he get out of the pocket before Errol Spence can land his thudding body shots? Does he still have the stamina? And that's the part B to this plan. Freddie Roach talked about how they started their grueling part of their training camp a little bit earlier than usual because he knows the urgency and how dangerous of an opponent Errol Spence is. That they usually take it easy in certain parts of the first couple weeks of training camp. But pretty much when Manny Pacquiao got to the Wild Card Boxing Gym, it was straight boots to the ground and grueling work, because Freddie has identified that if his gas tank isn't, up to snuff, it's going to be a long night for Manny. It's not going to end well for him. And then also something to note too, guys, I thought was pretty interesting. Freddie, again, to just further underline how serious and how much he thought of this game plan for the fight, he's actually been sending certain sparring partners home early on that he didn't think were up to par, that weren't challenging. They've actually brought some high-level sparring partners compared to years past to really push Manny in training to make sure that he's getting quality work. He's just not facing some, budding prospect who can't fight. I mean, some of those guys that are in camp, like Maurice Lee, who is that guy that fought Danny Garcia, that Euro guy who has a pretty good record. Alexis Roca. I mean, these are guys who are bigger and they're not bums, guys. These guys can actually fight. And I'm pretty sure there are a couple other sparring partners that we just don't know about because Team Pacquiao hasn't released any of the sparring footage, obviously. But anyway, folks, the consensus I'm gathering here, with less than a month away, is that Manny is not treating this as a vacation fight, as a farewell fight. And by the looks of his training, his intentions, I really think that he is not going into this one with, eyes on the exit. I think past great fighters, like, for example, De La Hoya, I think he was a beaten man before he even got into the ring with Pacquiao. Just his demeanor and his attitude, he just didn't really want to be there. And it kind of showed his training. If you look at the training clips for De La Hoya against Pacquiao, he looked weak, and he didn't look like he was training hard, like he was just sandbagging and not really putting his best. Well, folks, let me just tell you, Manny is training like a beast for this fight, and he looks to be in really tip-top shape. And I don't think he's looking at the exit sign just quite yet. Folks, I'm really hoping for a win here, because if he wins this, basically he's a damn near undisputed welterweight champion in my eyes, and he will be the lineal welterweight champion, which will be super sick to see again. And I just want to see one last rodeo in 2022. Just I don't want Manny Pacquiao to retire, guys. I really hope he wins this one. Trying not to be too biased here, folks. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Freddie Roach is concocting an excellent game plan, it seems like a lot of you guys are right. Your guys' strategy, what you guys think Manny needs to do, and what I think he needs to do. Freddie is seeing the same thing as well. And they're getting ready for one hell of a war come August 21st. I can't wait, folks. Bringer of Rain signing out.